representative is Ogbefo. Please put your hands together. Him. We'll make action. Engineer Ogbefo. Is it engineer Ogbefo? Please, somebody usher him. Bring the microphone down. Thank you, ladies. Thank you, ladies. I really appreciate you for that. Sure. Again, a quick correction. All protocols observed. All my seniors in the house. Nice to see you, Dr. Akiobare. By the way, Engineer Ogbefo is Chairman Bini Port Committee, and we are honored to have you here in the house. Obokia came from a very long distance. Again, give him a round of applause, please. Honorable Murphy Osaro Omorui, are you in the house? Please give him a round of applause. The Speaker of Edo State House of Assembly, Right Honor Blessing Agbebaku. Where are you? Not quite here yet. Again, please give him a round of applause anyway. He's still speaking for us. Maybe the speech is taking a little longer. The convention chairman, Dr. Nelson Aluya, are you in the house? Give him a round of applause if he's here. The representative of His Royal Highness, the Oba of Benin, Oba Eware II, and other traditional rulers are represented. Please, if there are traditional rulers in the house, please acknowledge yourself and we'll give you a round of applause. Oba Atokbe. Oba Atokbe. Oba Ogidi. Ewa Ogidiga. Might as well say Ewa the Great. I thank you very much. The representative, okay, then we have our keynote speaker. All right, and thank you, Madam President. She always keeps me straight. Our keynote speaker is Dr. Mrs. Angela Aburi Asom. Where are you? Please give her a round of applause. I thank you for being with us here. Senator Neda Imaswain announced earlier, are you here? Well, we'll just continue to go down the list. Again, I want to congratulate and thank all the brothers and sisters of ENAW and their families. Yes, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate you. And as we continue the program, Mr. DJ, just fill in the blank for me as we resolve other issues. As you already know, a lot of us, we're going to improvise and tailor things as we go until because all seats are supposed to be sold out and they'll be here. And soon, there's nothing we do without asking our God and without, again, the national anthems and without every one of you here. So, beautiful. I have a superstar in the house. So let's do the American national anthem first. Please, ladies and gentlemen, rise for the American national anthem.
Can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing us that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. You may have a seat. Actually, we have the Nigerian national anthem, then the Edo anthem follows. Mrs. Eunice Omori Okunda, a very beautiful lady, all dressed up in our traditional attire. Please give her a round of applause. She will be doing the Edo national anthem and actually starting with Nigerian national anthem, then the Edo. Pardon me, you see, because I've lived in America so long, I'm sorry. We must do the Canadian national anthem. Mr. DJ, give me the Canadian, with no disregard for our northern brothers in Canada. We love you very much. You keep the cold away. Please, the Canadian national anthem, then the Nigerian and Edo. Go for it.
With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North, strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, again, we're doing the Nigerian national anthem, then Edo national anthem. Thank you. And this will be done by no other than Mrs. Eunice Omori Okundaye. Please give her a round of applause again.
Arise, O compatriots, Nigeria call obey to serve our father's land with love and strength and faith. Their labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity. If you don't know some of our vocation, I don't make any sona. Agua pa noriome ne Nigeria tie ni maya si yo terama ugbevi mariegbe ne mani wini wi ne si yo tema nerewi emani yorio vudu wina yo tono uyagba hey hey
Iye ke bari
waya domo aba aba ewa enoge manigo oye kene kene madaya ora devu majana o
Tura pere yere.
Abaga tope
Ise.
Abaga tope
Ise.
Enika oyawe wabawa o
Tura pere.
Enika oyawe wabawa o
Tura pere.
Abatope
Ise.
Atọ́pẹ́.
Ise.
Gbogbo atọ́pẹ́.
Ise. Umogi wa talk be.
Wàyáwó ẹsẹ̀ o. Ìwé ẹ̀dùnà mú sí.
Thank you very much. Now, again, having done the anthems, let's go into the opening prayers. We've done the political. There's nothing we do without our God.
Shall we pray? Our gracious Father, we thank you for today. You have ordained this meeting right from the beginning of time. You have also proposed that we will all be here today, and here we are. For this, we say thank you, Baba, in the name of Jesus. Father, we thank you for those who will prepare today's meeting. May you grant them wisdom. May you grant them understanding. And those of us that are here to participate, listen, Father, grant us the enablement to be patient and follow the proceeding in peace in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Every contrary spirit that want to raise its head here, to cause disaffection, to cause destruction, to cause anything that will not make this meeting to be a success, we come against it in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
For our brothers and sisters that are on their way here, you will quicken their footsteps.
Amen.
They will arrive in safety. And at the end of today's proceeding, we'll have abundant cause to say thank you. May this be our portion in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Oh, we can do better than that. It's a blessing. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. Waweseu. Coming up next, I am honored to introduce my brother to do the traditional breaking of the kola nut. Thanks to our ancestors, thanks for everything. I am now introducing, please put your hands together for Chief Nusakari Omogiva, the Obamedo of Ubokonu Magbai. Please put your hands together for him.
All right, all right.
Anyone ever who are manivie do mare mavena ado duko edo ne do aya ma nuselo aya ma iya ka we uma agbanivie do uma agbanima
Ise.
uma wa agbanima
Ise.
edo ni ma yikere ora ma maya ni vere mana ni anido duko na ni kehere maya gogo ewo maya be yari owa ma mi dobo emitina na dona umake agbani ama mezowe emitina mari mo egbeye court ma tobi ma iti egbima atemi yamana everything man ibe kedore uwa ato the governor ogiere pa ogbe fun iyari o ayari wa o egberame ayi ma ya yari o wa ọba atope o
Itoga segele. Toga segele mananu waya naki.
Toga segele.
Mananu waya naki o.
Toga segele.
Ibu wagi kwani.
Toga segele.
Sisi kara America.
Toga segele. Toga segele. Toga segele. Toga segele. Toga segele. Toga segele. Segele. Toga segele. Ise.
ibiedo wa wese o la evena aga ilega wa egbe obi okan na o mai no ti o mai no obi okan o su wa gbe la wa iri ifeso ye mana ona iseke nu yo mana ya ro ube vai o oba atope
Ise.
wa wese o
When waya regiri wa umfwa waya bokia o wa bokia o wa bokia vera vera o abite benite o when waya regiri wa umfwa waya bokia se wa bokia o wa bokia vera vera o abite benite ena kpori nyagi fi oja waya bokia o wa bokia o wa bokia vera o abite benite ena kpori nyagi fi oja waya bokia aba tokpe
Thank you for always liveling up this. Again, welcome to the 2023 ENA Worldwide Convention in Newark, New Jersey. Well, we've reached a point where we still have some dignitaries in the house. As they show up, we will welcome them and introduce them. And I thank you all for taking the time to be here. All of you are leaders. I know they said it before. Erima Swevedo. Obevo ewa obidalevo. Obevo ewa obidalevo. Obevo ewa no sayawina o. Tuwara sedene hikae opa. Ederama uwarama ubaba. Tuwara sedene hikae oba. Ederama uwarama ubaba. Tuwara sedene hikae oba. Wawese o. Mama Eswe, Waweso, Ihuet Onirema Wawese, Wabeva. Give yourselves a round of applause. They say men strong, but without the women there is no gasoline. Give yourselves a round of applause again. Now, Awe no giga no gema yore. Awe no giga wege no gema yore. Ebo karogo we boga derogo. Agi ebo kwen gbale mi. Awe o awe gema yore. Awe o awe gema yore. Awe no giga no gema yore. Awe no giga no gema yore. Ebo karogo wege boge de rogo. Ayi ebo kwen gbale mi. Awe o baba gema yore. Awe o gema yore. Awe mami oko. Yare.
Wabo weird. Wabo here. If you had done no marry here, Wawese. You go to wire now. Thank you everybody for coming. I welcome you guys to the city of Newark, New Jersey. Your Excellency, Governor Godwin Obaseki of Edo State of Nigeria, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Nelson Aluya, Convention Keynote Speaker, Dr. Angela Aburume Assam, representatives of His Royal Highness, Royal Majesty, Oba Eware II, and members of the Edo State traditional rulers, elected officials present, distinguished guests, our brothers and sisters from Edo State and the diaspora, well-wishers from all walks of life. On behalf of our noble Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey, and as the president of Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey, and the chairman of Edo National Association Worldwide ENAW 2023 Convention Planning Committee, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome each one of you to the 30th Annual Convention of ENAW at Newark, New Jersey. The guiding purpose of our collective vision as members of Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey is premised on the need to embark on an outreach initiative that gives something of value back to our various communities in the Edo State of Nigeria, as well as here in the United States of America. In view of these guiding principles, our goal, therefore, is to form a united front that is hinged in the fact that promoting, showcasing, and advocating for the intrinsic cultural heritage, norms, and values of Edo people will be an important contribution and of great value to our dynamic world. As a relatively young club, which was founded in 2019, our drive is to redefine how vibrant culture of Edo is viewed globally. Strategically, we felt that there is a need for a new club, such as Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey, to work hard to reflect positively on the historical, geographical, and diverse composition of Edo State of Nigeria, that the multi-pronged effort harnessed by members of Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey to host the 2023 ENAW Convention, National Convention in Newark, New Jersey, is rooted in our collective belief that a national convention such as this is appropriate platform to project and display the best of Edo cultural heritage. We were irrevocably committed to ensuring that this cultural extravaganza and display will result in a resounding success. The theme of this convention is achieving health equity for all, a necessity for Edo State sustainability, a theme that was first introduced on Saturday, September 4th, 2004, at the ENAW Convention in Detroit, Michigan, by a previous keynote speaker, Dr. Augustine Edopolo. He emphasized making Edo State the medical hub or Mecca for Nigerians and indeed the whole of West Africa. The then Edo State Governor, Mr. Osariebe Osumbo, listened and bought into the idea that could not execute it before he was removed by the courts from office. Since a good idea cannot just fizzle out, it has been resurrected by our inner president, engineer Bosse of Viasu, who is from the same club in Michigan, where the idea was first hatched in 2004. Our members quickly bought into her idea, as demonstrated by the sum of money donated and raised by members within a very short period. The idea of locating the dialysis center in all 3 Edo senatorial districts is an idea whose time has come. I urge each and every one of you to support it with so many Edo sons and daughters excelling in nurses and medical doctors in the United States, Canada, England, Japan, and Saudi Arabia. And I can assure you that there will be no end to the infinite supply of talents to help man the dialysis program. Once again, I welcome you to the city of Newark, New Jersey. As you already know, New Jersey is part of the tri-state region that dominates the United States economy by virtue of their combined population. It is in this northern coast of the United States and populated by diverse immigrants with various cultures. She is ready to host you and entertain you with her Atlantic City gambling casinos and all that Newark has to offer. Included are New Jersey Performing Arts Center in Newark, where you can enjoy a night out with live entertainment, piano concert, dance performance, and a comedy show. Newark Museum of Arts, which is home to an art collection with diverse pieces from all over the world. Some of the spoils from Benin massacre might be identified there for retrieval. The Cathedral Basilica of Sacred Heart, which is the largest cathedral in North America, I urge you to make the most out of the 3-day stay in Newark, New Jersey. Finally, tonight, there will be a gala night at the ballroom, which during which our ENA Cultural Director, Dr. Osagie Igbinosu, will showcase our cultural rich and enviable cultural heritage, dance performances, and other associated cultural activities. On behalf of Edo Alliance Group of New Jersey, I again welcome you to this year's ENAW Convention. Long live ENAW, long live Edo State. God bless the United States of America. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless all Canada. Oba Atok Baye. Thank you all. Thank you all for the privilege of your time.
All right. What's your mother's name?
As we go, again, I want to thank you again. Put your hands together very well for my man here with a great cause. I can call you Dr. Ikagwere. I made you a doctor now. I know you're Davidson. Well, because if you care for our health so much, thank you. Again, I want to recognize Chris Okundaye, the son of the late Chief Obamoye of Benin. Please give him a round of applause. He's with us here. Thank you. While also we are waiting on the chairman, I'm just going to call our keynote speaker to address us, Dr. Angela Aburime Assam. Please give her a round of applause. Where is she? There you are, your beautiful self.
Thank you. I guess I'll start by introducing myself. So for those of you who don't speak Benin, well, I guess I take that back because my dad's Asan, my mom's Benin. So I'll try and speak a little bit of Ishan, but Asan actually, but I'm more fluent. It's just how it is. Stalizi Evan. So I was born number 4, number 17, no brother, New Lagos Road. I was born at Aburime Maternity on New Lagos Road. When I was about 10 years old or so, my dad moved us to Upper Sakwamba. So my first year of school, I went to Holy Cross Primary School. Because so they moved me to Adesua Primary School. And I think after 5 years, I went to St. Maria Goretti. Madam President is an old girl. And from there on, I went to medical school at the University of Benin. Came to the United States in 1990, took my board exams. I'm a pediatrician when I work as a doctor, but I'm a lot of things. But of everything that I might be, I'm proudest to be an Edo woman. So, knowing who I am, I'd like to greet all of you, every single person who's here. This is unbelievable culture. If I'm get up and dress up and take time, you guys can tell, my big sister from California. But if I'm going to take the time to do all that and dress up and look nice, I want it to be with Edo people. When I scrub it, I'm okay with that. But looking at this room, this is our heritage stage. We are proud people, we're beautiful people, we're smart people, and I welcome you all. It takes a lot to be here. It's expensive. It's time away from family, and it's a lot of money spent. So I'd like to welcome everyone in the room, first and foremost. I'm not very good at the official things, but I happen to know that Excellency is represented here today by Engineer Ogbefun. I'll tell you a little story about him, and I'll welcome everybody as we go, but I'll just do it as I remember. 2 years ago, he does not know me. Brother no sawa oni. But anyway, so I was invited to join the Goreti girls, some very dynamic young lady. Our president being one of those, Bosse, decided that the state of the high school was not good enough and they would do something about it. Yana was one Degbe school. So they called on me to join. And, you know, we raised funds, we put up the first building, and it was time to go see what was going on and do the opening ceremony. So Bosse and a few others led that group. I was just invited, even though I was a senior girl. I put in my work, my 2 cents, my advice and all of that, and money to, it takes money to build these things. But anyway, we got to Benin, and one of the people who hosted us very beautifully was Engineer Ogbefun. I hadn't seen, it was such a beautiful house. I have to tell you that. I'm sorry, sir. We were welcomed, and I spend a lot of time traveling. It's what I do in my spare time all over the world. And I was surprised to find somebody who knew as much about Panama as I did. He probably doesn't remember that conversation. So you're welcome, sir, representing His Excellency. Madam Bosse, thank you so much. You give us hope. You make us proud. Being the first president of ENAW worldwide is not a small achievement. We know our culture. For a woman to get where Bosse has got to, it can't be easy. Thank you so much for having me, Doctor. Of course, I cannot thank Bosse without thanking Epa, where's Epa? Domosa. Thank you, yes. And Her Excellency, Mrs. Betts is not here yet, but I'm glad she's here. We're very honored that she could make it. And I'm sure she'll be in the room soon. So I'd also like to thank her. As I go through this, there are a whole lot of people to thank. There are everyday people who just encourage me. They talk to me. They tell me what's going on. They ask me, they encourage me to bring my passion and my love for Edo State everywhere I go. So I'll just mention a few. Dr. Uyig Binadolo, Rema, Ovioba, Wese, thank you for being a friend and strong support. Dr. Igbinosun, thank you so much for asking me to do this. So our AV is up and running, and we're going to get to it. This is going to be informal. The one thing that's going to hold true and that's most critical about my presence here today is that I do believe that Edo State is special. I do believe that we're special people, and I do believe that we can get Edo State to any standard of any country in the world. But I think who is going to do it is all of us in this room. It's not going to be government. When Nigeria decided to go into Wazobia, if you all know what that means, technically, I know there's a lot of tribes, a lot of languages, a lot of religions within our country. But when you do Wazobia and say there's 3 main tribes that you're going to teach the language and teach the culture and move on from, then you're telling us as Edo people from the great Benin Kingdom that we really don't matter as much. That is my personal view, and that's what I got from it. But we don't let others define us. We define ourselves. So my talk today is on achieving health equity for all. When we say all, we're talking about the state. But the main issue here is sustainability, which is how are we going to survive? How are we going to continue being who we are, being where we are, and staying true to what we are? How do we stay sustainable? So what I thought I should do is define a couple of these issues as we go along so everyone's carried along. So the most accepted definition for sustainability is having a group of people think about resources as finite. So everything we have, everything we use on Earth can be totally used up. So what does that mean? We have to be responsible. We have to use up resources such that we get what we need and future generations also have enough left over. Okay, thank you. Also have enough left over to meet their needs. So that's number one. How do we stay sustainable as Edo people? So when we talk about sustainability, as studied by researchers and objective findings, there's some pillars that need to be addressed. If you're to stay viable, to stay sustainable, to be able to project into the future, it means you must look at your human capital, you must look at socioeconomic factors, and you must consider your environment. So for instance, a lot of what we see going on now with the climate likely has to do with reckless use and abuse of our environment. So today I'm asked to talk about health, but there really is no health without a host of other things, right? Makarieva, meaning we'll eat. That's number one. There needs to be food on the table. We'll do things to keep the individual safe, happy, and sound. And then, of course, healthy. So when you look at the human part of sustainability, health is only one thing you look at. You also have to consider how you educate your people. And when you talk about education, you're just not talking about Western education. You're talking about even things like this today. Us coming together, learning from one another, felicitating with one another, visiting with one another, and letting there be an intermingling of ideas. So education is important, and of course transportation. Transportation is key to a lot of things because for society to stay sustainable, folks have to be able to move from point A to point B. So while my special focus is on health, I also actually like looking at transportation. This is just something that I do, any type of transportation. So I have here, this is actually 2 or 3 photographs rolled into this slide. Has anyone been to Colombia? So if you've ever gone to the country Colombia, there's a city called Medellin that's very hilly. And folks live all the way on top of the hill. Folks also live in the valley. What these folks have been able to do is harness the use of cable cars. So for instance, these are cable cars. So they call it the metro cable. So there is a platform from where these cars line up and people quickly get into the cars, and the cars are mounted on cables that go all the way to the top of the mountain. This is how people like this have been able to adapt to their environment. I bring this to say, look at what's happening with transportation in Edo State. I go home all the time. My husband knows. If you tell me to come to Benin tomorrow, I'll drop everything if I can and go. I get to Upper Sakmomba. First of all, that junction with 3rd is impassable most times. Traffic jam, a lot of chaos. And I keep thinking to myself, how about we build a metro? Our via pillar goduhun. You raise up pillars, you put cars on those pillars, and you just let people go above ground from 30 Circular to wherever you want to go over War Park, as an example. So I play a lot with transportation, but that's needed. Now, so let's talk about equity now. Equity and equality, which is part of what we're trying to get to do to stay sustainable. Equity is not equality. Equity is important because, at least as far as healthcare is concerned, what you try to do is give everyone the best opportunity to have the best health that they can. So what that means is you have to consider individuals. So if I'm trying to get all of us in this room to the goal of good health, I have to consider all our peculiar characteristics and address those so we all get there. So what that means is it isn't a one-size-fits-all. There are folks who are going to need more help in certain aspects than others. So to stay sustainable, equity has to be a very important issue. Another way to look at it is this graph is actually a very good one. There are 3 folks here trying to get to these lower fruits on this tree branch. As you can see, these 3 individuals are of different heights. Well, if we're trying to achieve the goal of getting them to get the fruit, it means that we have to address the inequalities in their height. So this last individual right here is going to need a smaller ladder than the other 2. This is what equity does. It prioritizes the justice in how you look at various issues. So when we talk about equity, there's certain measures that we must look at to be able to create equity. If we take healthcare in Nigeria, for instance, there's certain issues that need to be addressed. Why do we have one of the worst life expectancies in the world? Life expectancy in general for the whole world is 70 years. A little bit higher in females than men, but on the average about 70. The average life expectancy in 2023 for us in Nigeria is 56 years. 56 years. So as Edo people, because we can't save the country, but we can save Edo State, and from there walk on outwards. What do? We need to address issues that's going to improve our life expectancy. One of the biggest problems we have is kidney disease. So yesterday there was a lot of talk. I think I need to stop for a minute. First Lady just walked in. MC go.
Beautiful, thank you. Thank you.
Mami ekbeno ya kedore ega ye balaza arena arena ye first lady me o arena mami ekbeno ya kedore ye balaza.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Welcome, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki. So we're talking about outcome measures that we can influence to improve life expectancy for the people of Edo State. So when you talk about outcome measures, you start, and life expectancy, you start to look at the things that we can control or improve to achieve the goal of getting our life expectancy from the 50s to be at par with the rest of the world, which is 70 years old. So we look at things like cardiovascular disease, renal disease in men. We look at maternal health, women's issues, which we could spend a whole day talking about this. And we also look at outcome measures like infant mortality rates. The slides are not up, but we can talk to this. This is what I do all the time. We have one of the worst infant mortality rates in the world. We are below probably 2 or 3 countries, Sierra Leone, Chad, and South Sudan. Those are the only countries that our infant mortality rate is better than. Yet, we are a state, let's take Edo State, who have healthcare providers, the nurses, the doctors, the engineers, all manner of healthcare workers. We have some of the most numbers in Nigeria. So what can we do as Edo people to look inwards and start to harness the gift that we have, the gift of talent, the gift of heart, the gift of being able to do goodwill? Should we keep waiting for the government? So I'm here today really not just to talk about this. I want to challenge us as Edo people to look at healthcare. This is a place where we have competitive advantage. We have the brain, we have the manpower, we have the land, we have the culture, Edo men, I say, are the most civilized and most welcoming men in all of Nigeria. You don't know. And the reason I say this is as I get older, me maybe hoi de we Edo. If you do walk back, be why I give you a bina. If you do walk back, be why when you san here party san. It doesn't happen. So as we grow and as we look at these things, we start to see where our strength lies. We understand, we're civilized, we're cultured. So we no longer should wait for the government to do these things. Wagyawawe. The First Lady talked yesterday about healthcare, and I'm just going through a number of slides. Now we're going to round it up soon. She talked about Edo being the healthcare hub for the nation. She talked about how we are looking at grassroots, how we are looking at primary healthcare centers. The Nursing Association has, I believe Dr. Enoma spoke a little bit to this, or somebody else did, adopted the primary healthcare centers to look at providing basic and preventative health care for our people. We talked, of course, about the role of telemedicine. So technology is going. We can now access very remote areas of the state using the cell phone and the smartphone features of being able to do video calls. So I could talk on and on about this topic, but here's my point. Here's my summary. We need to stay sustainable so we can use what we need today and let future generations have what they need to sustain themselves. We can look inwards to ourselves and bring forth the strength and the understanding that we have been given as Edo people. Let's go. I'm here to tell everyone in this room that it is our collective responsibility to build healthcare in Edo State. Everybody who left, anyone who is in this room, except the ones who came in just to honor us, have a bigger part of this. Wakba. The people who left are a bigger problem. Until and unless everyone who's left goes back to put into that system as much as they put wherever they are, so we all need to get back, think about what's going on, think about ourselves as proud Edo people, and get to work. Wahiawe say. Last hour, I have to thank somebody, a brother way near ya Tota Dimawe. My husband is here. Dr. Moses Assam. Moses, please stand up. I'd like to thank him for being there for me always. His best friend's getting married this weekend, also in New Jersey. But he's left all that to be with us. Wese, thank you. Wese, brother, well. Thank you all so much.
Wese, please give her a round of applause. Give her a round of applause. I thank you. Quickly, my sister, come on. Just 1 second. Thank you for what you had to share. And let me just say this. It's not making.
It's not working.
Uro mi medai school. Edo making. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, I'm a geek, but I'm not so hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Oh, hame gigbe me sani die ba isoki hame. Ìrètí bẹ̀láyé, Èdùmàrè fún mi ní tèmi o. We'll do that later on. But quickly, as time running out, I want to say this. Not only Bini, Edo is so rich, we have Afemai. We have, give a round of applause. We have Ora. Put a hand together. We have our brothers and sisters from Delta, Urobo, Isoko, and all the other. Put your hands together. Agayedo, Edo Odion. Edo Gayogama, Edo Odion. Always say, quickly, I want to also let you know that I've just been told that if you see this green card, just scan it. I will tell you more about it later on. ENAW, put your hands together for 31 years. If that's not enough, 61 chapters. Put your hands together. If that's not enough, 9 projects so far, and they have a 10th one coming up. Put your hands together. And the theme of this one here is achieving health equity for all, a necessity for Edo State sustainability. Don't we all need it? Health. It makes us everything we don't want to be. And I want to thank Madam President, because I lost a sister just last year after paying $150 every week for dialysis. Then after about 5 years, she was gone. I want to also recognize our sister in the house. Again, when we talk about ESA, if I can find it, got all this piece of paper here. I want to quickly recognize, she may speak to us later on, but just time we are trying to manage it. But my sister, Mrs. Caroline Ilogienebo, right? Correct? Please stand up, give her a round of applause. She is Secretary General of ASAN Worldwide, standing for the President, Mr. Genesis Inibuno. ASAN Worldwide, represent all the ASAN people in the diaspora. Give her a round of applause. She may have some words for us later on. But coming up next is my brother, the one and only. He's a cousin of mine. We've known for a long time. We always see at the ENAW Convention when he comes to deliver some good news. I'm talking of nobody else other than Brother Doctor. He's a surgeon. He travels all over the world. He's not doing it for the money. He takes care of all. But he said he's a doctor, but he's been taking care, he's been applying medicine, and he's been cutting because he's a surgeon too. He's come to tell us how to just prevent it all, because we don't have to go through this. Please put your hand together for our Dr. Bobby Idusuyi. Yes, Ebo Idusuyi. Give him a round of applause.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Obi Idusuyi. I practice out of Springfield, Illinois, and I've been an orthopedic surgeon for over 24 years. My first medical mission to Nigeria was with Dr. Obayuwana, Alphonsus Obayuwana. That was about 22 years ago. We did surgeries. We saw lots and lots of patients. And over the years, I've done a lot of medical missions. And we actually have a hospital, instead of a heart hospital in Sapler Road. So we've done a few things. In terms of what I'm going to talk about today is health span. Okay, health span is probably, as it relates to longevity, as it also relates to preventative care, it's probably will bring more bang to your bang to your bucks if you go through preventative care in order to look at how we treat patients in terms of the quality of life. So, can we get some of the lights? Can we dim the lights, please? Oh, there's no question that we've made significant care in the way we manage patients. You know, we've done with what I call the 3Ds. You know, we give drugs, we give devices, we dig, we do surgeries. We've improved a lot of quality. We improved in terms of bringing drugs and giving all the people what they want in terms of a healthcare delivery. But by far, the most important thing is preventative care. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the life expectancy of patients is improved over the last, I would say over the last decade. From, you know, in the US right now, the life expectancy is about 76 years. Of course, in Nigeria, it's about 50 years. So what's the difference between lifespan and health span? And that's the question. There's people live to 70 years old, but at 50 years old, they just quit living. You know, what happens between 50 and 60 and 70 years old? That's called the marginal decade of life. What are you actually living or just existing? So, what is lifespan as opposed to health span? Lifespan is pretty binary. That's if you're going to live for 20 years or 40 years or 50 years, it's pretty binary. You're either here or you are not. But health span is different. Health span is what is your quality of life while you are alive. You may be alive, but what is your quality of life? And your quality of life is based on how well you take care of yourself, your preventative measures. So, what is your physical state, and what is your cognitive state, and what is your emotional state? So this graph here is very, very important. Okay, here is a typical lifespan. You grow up, you go all the way down to like 60, 70, it's a typical lifespan. And what healthcare has done with all the surgeries that we've done, all the medications, all of the devices, we have been able to just improve our health by a few years. So you live here and you just improve it maybe about 5 to 10 years. So if you haven't done any preventative measure, it doesn't matter what we do. You can do all kinds of surgery, build all kinds of dialysis center, but at the end of the day, extend your life by just few years, but just between 5 to 10 years. How about having a good paradigm shift where you actually take care of your health, prevent your health, have a preventive care so that you can have a normal curve, so you can actually live much healthy and much lively in your terminal decade of life, which is the last 10 years of your life, the last 15 years of your life, the terminal decade. So Dr. Essen will talk about what they call the 4 horsemen of death. So first here in this room, we succumb to one of these diseases here: cardiovascular disease or cerebrovascular disease, cancer disease, neurodegenerative disease, and metabolic disease. This is a secret killer. So right now, what medicine is doing, we just treat one disease at a time. You get a high blood pressure, doctor treat the blood pressure. You get a kidney problem, doctor treat the kidney problem. It's very expensive, very costly, takes a lot of energy. How about figuring out what's causing all of these diseases? What's causing all of these diseases? Why do you have cardiovascular problems? These are the number 3 killers here. Cardiovascular disease, cancer, and neurodegenerative disease. What is the biology of all of these diseases? And that's inflammation. If you can learn one thing from this talk today for me, is inflammation. Inflammation, if you take care of your inflammation, you can reduce the number one, all these diseases, because inflammation is linked, is related to the incidence of cardiovascular disease, cancer, and Alzheimer, all related to inflammation, and metabolic disease, which is a disease that I will talk about in a few minutes, called insulin resistance. So let's go to the next one. So primarily, we want to change the way we manage healthcare from just taking care of the disease and be more preventative, to be more proactive, and to be more system-based instead of organ-based. So by doing this, you can be able to proactively take care of all of these patients with all these diseases instead of just saying, let's build, it's a good thing to build a dialysis center. We have a dialysis center at our hospital, but what can you really do preventing so that you don't have to treat one disease at a time? And that would be the preventative care I'm going to be talking about. To understand, let's go back here. To really understand this, you have to know that the population is aging. Actually, aging is very malleable, you can tell. And it can be controlled. If you can take care of the aging, all the diseases of the aging, you can control all of the chronic diseases that we're going to be talking about. So, let's go back here. Okay, I have a pop quiz here. I just put this up here. We have a 62-year-old obese male who has a high blood pressure, 160/95, okay? So I have a couple of answers. If somebody can give me a good answer in terms of what do you think we should do for this gentleman? The first one is to reduce the dietary salt intake. Number 2 is to take a low-dose antihypertensive medication, intensive exercise, reduce of glucose, or eliminate processed food. Can somebody give me one of these answers? What's the best one? Okay. Some people say salt intake. Any other guesses? Processed food. Intense exercise. No. Where's Mr. Obasa? And low dose hypertensive drug. So this slide is probably the most important slide I have. Back in the day, people, people store their meat with salt. So salt is salt is a risk factor, but people that live in the Arctic Ocean, they have in the Arctic, they process their meat with salt. You can always, if you have good kidneys, you can peel away the salt, right? If you have good kidneys, you can peel away the salt, right? So salt is also a risk factor, but it may not be the most important, right? Okay. Any other guesses? Processed food, and so what we're talking about is the reduction and the consumption of glucose. I mean, with this one single act, you can prevent all of those chronic diseases. I know it's kind of a tough topic to talk about. Nobody wants to address this elephant in the room, but reducing your consumption of glucose will do a whole lot for you. But how do we do it? And there's a hormone called insulin. And the way the insulin works, the insulin takes your glucose from your cell, your glucose from the blood, and put into the cell. Okay? It's just like you have a bad water, a bucket of, let's say the bathtub. You keep on pouring water into the bathtub, right? So the insulin takes it into the cell. But what happens when you continue to take more water into the bathtub? What happens? So the water splits over, and once the water is the fat, right? When you take glucose, it goes into your muscles, it gets converted to glycogen into your muscle. But when you take too much, when it split over, it goes into what we call the visceral fat. When you start making fat in the visceral fat is highly, highly inflammatory. Very inflammatory. And it's the inflammation from that visceral fat is the genesis for all those four horsemen. That's once, I will say that again. It's not so much the fat that you have in your belly, it's the one inside the organ. It's not so much the fat outside, it's the one inside the organ. The more you continue to put sugar inside the cell, it spills into the visceral fat, and that is highly, highly inflammatory. And so when you have that, what we call insulin, I'm not going to go through all this because that will have what we call insulin resistance. If you go home today, just Google the word insulin resistance, because insulin resistance is the genesis of all the problems we're going to talk about. Because so if you have this what they call the metabolic syndrome, you have all of this, hypertension, glucose problems, blah, blah, blah. But guess what? All the diseases we talked about, cancer, cardiovascular problems, diabetes, stroke, and that's if you can take care of the glucose and insulin, then you can take care of most of these problems. So I'm going to just run it up. Okay, so we'll end up, here we go, something that nobody wants to talk about, but you have to talk about nutrition, exercise, supplementation, sleep, and also you must address your emotional health. Okay, nutrition 101, I'm going to spend 1 minute per slide and run away. Nutrition 101, you have food rich whole foods, less processed food, more nutrient dense. They have these terms here called caloric restrictions, time restriction eating, and diet restrictions. So this we have to know. We have to know this. The less calorie, there's a link between low calorie and longevity. So if your daily requirement for calories is 2,000 calories, if you can find to just cut it down to 1,800 calories for the rest of your natural life, you can increase your lifespan or your health span. So calorie restrictions is important, okay? Also, time restricted eating, because we talked about the insulin a few minutes ago. You do not want your insulin to be up 24/7, okay? Have a time to eat, get the insulin up, because insulin, you don't want it up all day. Let it go up and let it come down. So that's it. So that's what we call the intermittent fasting. If everybody heard of intermittent fasting, just pick up a time you're going to eat 5 hours of the day, eat your meal, and stop. You don't eat all day because you have a refrigerator. You know? Open the refrigerator, get something, open the refrigerator. Close the refrigerator, eat once or twice a day, give your time you're going to eat for 2 hours, eat it and stop. That's it. Because when you eat all day long, it's very problematic. It will decrease your health span, it will decrease your lifespan. And also people, in terms of the diet, if you don't want to have the insulin go up, then stick with what they call, there's some diet called the ketogenic diet, a diet that's less with the carbs. Carbs and insulin, I call insulin the devil hormone. Insulin is the devil hormone. Don't spike your insulin. Find a way to bring the insulin down or very stable. So that's what I'm going to say about that one. Supplementation. And I will talk about this. Get your regular blood checks, continuous glucose monitor. I have a glucose monitor I wear all the time because that tells me how my insulin is working. So get your visceral fat and regular checkups for men, colonoscopy and PSA. That's all I have right now.
Thank you very much. And you wonder why my doctor looked like this? Do you wonder why he looked like this? Not only the exercise. What he was trying to say is, just keep it simple. But again, we have dignitaries in the house. I want to quickly welcome my brother, the chairman. Okay, actually, I'll introduce the distinguished Rep. Senator Neda Imaswe. Where is she here? Please give him a round of applause. Then, also I have in the house our chair, Dr. Nelson Aluya. I know there was a few words you needed to say, and just do it for maybe a minute for me. Compressed?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I had to come in late because I had a little bit of an emergency that ended up somebody in the ICU, so I had to take care of that so quickly. But before I go on, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, First Lady of Edo State, I recognize you, senators and other distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all to the Garden State. New Jersey is the Garden State, and that's what we call it here. We're proud, we're wonderful, we're gracious, and I hope you all have seen and accepted our hospitality so far. And I hope the weather has also been fair to you as well. This time of the season where you're here is great weather, and we welcome each and every one of you to our great city, Newark, New Jersey. To the president of EDO Alliance and the entire people who've been able to put this together, I appreciate and I thank each and every one of you. As we gather here today, just listening to the great doctor who talked about what it is to keep your health. But 1 second, if you permit me 1 second, do you mind, each and every one of you, and I'll tell you why, can you all stand for 1 minute? Yes. Thank you for turning the light on. I thank you for doing this. The reason why, other than the fact that as black people, right, our muscles eat when we move. So the fact that you're standing here, you're regenerating the blood flow all over your body again. So if there's one other thing you're going to take away from the lecture and we'll talk today, you have to move, because that's the way our muscles are. Black people's body move, and that glucose he was talking about, it eats it up when we move. But the reason why I'm asking you guys to stand up is because each and every one of you standing here today are the people who survived COVID. And it's a fact, so please sit down. Thank you for honoring me. You all survived COVID. A lot of people young, healthy, strong, older, younger, they died. But you're all here. It therefore means there's a reason for your life and a purpose for your life. We've all been given a second chance. What is the value of your second chance? What are you going to do with that time that you've been given? So as we all gather here today, we're doing it because you value why you're here. And I always say this, that you find time for the things that are important to you. Because this is important to you, you all found the time to come, travel from Nigeria, from Canada, from everywhere. And I thank each and every one of you. But our gathering here today is not just to eat and celebrate and talk, but to also network, to see where our powers lie. What resources do we bring down to the table to achieve the common goals for us as individuals and a community and the kingdom that we represent? And when I talk about the resources, it means time, money, and your intellect. Each and every one of you have that. So, but I'll tell you this, whatever you have, bring to the table. Some people have time, they don't have the intellect or the money. Some people have the money, they don't have the time or the intellect. Some people have the intellect, they don't have the time or the money. Because we want to achieve an aim, each and every one of you bring that to the table so that we can build the EDO state that we truly deserve. Equal equity of health for every EDO person. But then I tell you this, find something that is important to you that you achieve. Get an agenda, mentor a young person. But in all the things that you do, you're going to build and create together, remember, you cannot and may not be able to do it alone. And that's why you seek partners. And that's why we are here today as partners. So seek what it is in each and every one of us. We all have our differences, but guess what? Look at the bigger and better picture. What is it that we can achieve together? And that's why we're here. Network, pull our resources together so that we can achieve greatness for EDO State and for the entire Nigeria and the entire Africa. Because each and every one of you, like they say, Nigeria no dey carry last. We do not carry last. And we all lose. That Nigerian Carla actually started from Edo State. Edo do not carry last. So as I sit down, again, I welcome each and every one of you. Network, coalesce together, find those who are on the same plane with you, create the resources that you need to achieve so that we'll come together and create a great and a functioning health system for Edo State. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Please, well said, Mr. Chairman. Please put your hand, round of applause for him again. It looks like, say, some of us don't they hungry. And that's what doctor was saying. Whatever you eat, it shows up in your body. Coming up next is, again, we talk about sustainability, we talk about the dialysis center, but I cannot bring the president in. Like somebody said earlier, in Edo, for a woman to become a president of ENAW, put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. No, not yet. The only time we talked about that, the only time we think about that was our mother, Idia. Mudianao, Laho. Okuogi yoku o so kuin diameni yesige namba Idia o Idiameni yesige. Owe fi egbe were egbe o egbe nya e manya wo Idia o Idiameni yesige. Honestly, I compare you to that. But ultimately, do may want to welcome her. And though we are short on time, but I must bring the first lady in, the president in. That's my first brother. But I must bring the president in with a nice one who could say, Wakpe, man.
Thank you so much. The Executive Governor of Edo State and our special guest of honor, Your Excellency, Mr. Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, who is not here, but his better half is here. Our mother, the First Lady of Edo State, the wife of Edo State Governor, Ms. Bessie Seki, is here with us, representing her husband. You are welcome, ma'am. The chairman of Benin Port Committee, Engineer Greg Utome Ogbeifun, the member of House of Representatives, Honorable Murphy Osaro Mori, our distinguished Senator Neda Imaswen, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, if he's here, Right Honorable Blessing Agbebaku, the Convention Chairman, Dr. Nelson Aluya, The keynote speaker, Dr. Mrs. Angela Aburimen Asom, Chairman of our Council of Presidents, Engineer Charles Omoha of Yahweh, Chairman of Board of Advisors, Elder Franklin Omoruna, distinguished members of the Council of Presidents that actually put me in this position, you are recognized and welcome. My brothers and sisters and members and their of ENAW and their families, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me express my heartfelt gratitude to the Almighty God and each of every individual who contributed to making my election as the first female president of ENAW possible. It fills me with immense joy and happiness to extend a warm welcome to all of you at this year's annual convention hosted by the Edo Alliance of New Jersey. My administration, ESCO members, and I have had the privilege of serving you all since our inauguration on September 25th, 2020. Over this period, we have worked tirelessly to continue with the good work that the previous administration did, while at the same time charting a course to ensure we set up strategies to actualize the lofty programs I pledge to embark on during my campaign. It is now my pleasure to share with you our achievements so far. In line with the constitutional requirements of our association, we formed various standing and ad hoc committees to ensure the realization of my 8-point manifesto presented during my campaign, and these include Reconciliation Committee. We worked so hard because we wanted to bring everybody. When I say everybody, no one will be left behind, whether you are from ASA. I'm happy that the MC recognized the president who is being represented by the secretary of ASA World Congress. I'm reaching out to all the different branches of Edo State to make sure that we all come together to be one big family. So now we have Reconciliation Committee headed by Bishop Kenneth Obano, set up to resolve any dispute and reconcile aggrieved ENA members with a view to promoting inclusiveness, unity, peace, and harmony among the members. It is a matter of great joy to report that most of the issues have been amicably resolved and members are more united than when we came on board. Allegations have been voluntarily withdrawn from the court. Medical mission improvement, headed by Dr. Mrs. Grace Ogeho Enoma. The medical mission improvement initiative has been reorganized to make it more effective and impactful in meeting the medical needs of our people in Edo State. In achieving this, herself and her committee members worked assiduously and on December 15, 2022, submitted a report of their committee's work with recommendation to ENAW COP, who after due consideration approved their recommendations. One of such recommendations is that ENAW should adopt a primary healthcare center in each of the 3 senatorial districts of Edo State. And work is already ongoing to actualize this. Such work would include renovation of the primary healthcare building, provide relevant hospital equipment, training of the relevant personnel, provision of renewable energy to power the facility, to name but a few. There are currently 409 primary healthcare centers that need revitalization in Edo State. I hereby call on each and every one of you, each club who comes from these various communities and interested individuals to contact me during this convention or at any other time on how to participate. A thorough research template is available to any club or persons interested in this initiative, which will take off as soon as possible. It is intended that on a completion of the above, a medical mission will be organized to commission the facilities and bring awareness of the reactivated center to their local communities. Youth Committee, chaired by Engineer Usosefe Amiwu. The present administration is proactively considering long-term succession planning effort for our children, especially those born here in the diaspora, to get actively involved in ENAW activities and programs. In this regard, Engineer Usosefe Amiwu has designed interesting youth programs that will elicit the interest and active participation of our young people in ENAW. It is the desire of this administration that someday ENAW will have a vibrant youth wing, just like the women's wing, that will in the long term metamorphose into taking leadership positions of the smooth continuity and sustainability of ENAW in the future. What that means is that we're all growing old. So we need to bring our children on board, which eventually we will now hand over to them to continue ENAW. Membership Committee, chaired by our Honorable Vice President, Engineer Charles Gobadia. The Membership Committee strategy plan aims to grow the organization by increasing membership. Key strategies include recruiting global, local clubs, and also globally that align with ENAW core values. Promoting ENAW through value-based recruitment and online outreach, and collaborating with like-minded organizations to expand resources and access. Utilizing effective communication, implemented a streamlined online application process to facilitate easy sign-up. Lastly, sharing the organization's story through the website, events, and local and social media foster emotional connections with prospective members club. The results have been significant with a focus on quality over quantity, attracting committed members who contributed meaningfully to the cause. Moving forward, the committee remains committed to refining strategies and involving members for continued growth and impact. ENA Members Fund, chaired by Mr. Jim Otokiti. This fund is a form of life insurance, or you call it bereavement benefits, which is paid to the beneficiary of the disease. The program is structured and managed by an independent board. I am pleased to inform you that the state of the ENAW Members Fund is healthy. It is healthier than it has ever been. The fund is 17 years old and continue to grow stronger. We currently have 1,252 active participants in the program, and with assets of over $600,000. The COP members relentless contributions to this fund over the past 17 years speak volumes. By the progress we had made to date, I want to use this opportunity to appeal to all the organizations that are yet to become part of the ENA Members Fund to please assess their situation, take the initial leap of faith, and join the Members Fund. For all practical purposes, the benefits of being a member far outweigh the cost. Please take advantage of this program and become part of it, as it is open to all members of ENAW. The Park Project, chaired by Alaji Aneru. ENAW now has in his possession the Auchi Community Land Allocation certificate confirming its legal title to the parkland. As of July 2023, the perimeter fencing of Auchi Park has been completed. Other scope of work accomplished include leveling of the soccer field and drilling a functional industrial borehole with a water storage tank within the parkland. Although the park project faced challenges due to encroachment and damage to property caused by encroachers, ENAW has engaged the services of a legal practitioner to address the encroachment issues, and a petition has been filed against the perpetrators. These encroachers have in turn filed a human rights violation petition in response. At the time of this report, the police area command is set to arraign the perpetrators in court soon. Efforts are ongoing to raise more funds and collect pledges for the completion of the park project. Each of these committees is working assiduously to achieve their respective mandates, and I extend my sincere gratitude to all the members contributing to the progress of ENA Park projects. Since assumption of office, our administration has acquired an office space that serves as its liaison office in Benin City. The office, which is located at number 1 Sloko Road, Benin City, was graciously donated to ENAW free for 2 years by Mr. Jude Nosaige, chairman of Palm Royal Hotel, Benin City. An appreciation letter has been sent to Mr. Nosaige for this kind gesture. In due course, a liaison officer will be needed to be engaged to coordinate and support the activities of the association in Edo State. It is also my pleasure to inform you that I visited the Emota Garden Estate to inspect the 2-bedroom apartment donated to ENAW by late Captain Osa Okumbo during the 2018 convention in Canada, and we have taken possession of the property. However, more work needs to be done to make the building habitable. And it is important to note that presently, the estate where the building is located is yet to be occupied by people. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the state of ENAW is strong and prospect for the future is bright. I urge every member of this association to continue to provide positive and constructive ideas and initiatives that will lead to the continued growth of ENAW and help Edo people back home. Dialysis Center Development Committee. This committee is headed by our own Vice President, Engineer Charles Gwabadia, to supervise the execution of the proposed legacy projects. The ENAW Dialysis Center is planned to be established at the 3 senatorial districts of Edo State. The committee, which constitutes of seasoned professionals, has already developed a standard design for the ENAW Dialysis Center, as well as come up with $800,000 as estimate for the construction of each center, equipping the center and providing relevant facilities. And all these have been approved by the COP. The challenge we have now is obtaining suitable land to suit the dialysis center in the 3 senatorial districts. Any assistance in this regard will be highly appreciated. It is our projection that the first one will be launched on before June 2024. Funds for the development of the dialysis centers are being raised by committee headed by Dr. Dixon Jeswarobo. So far, the committee has raised almost $100,000 and is working towards increasing this figure substantially during this convention and on a continuous basis. I want to especially appreciate all those who have made cash and material donations. Any assistance in this regard will be highly appreciated. Again, I call on everyone present here today and during this convention to join me to save the lives of members of our families back home who have been confronted with this chronic kidney disease. Please donate today to extend a life. I also want to thank Our Excellency for all his efforts to develop Edo State within the limited resources of the state, particularly in the areas of education, technology, and above all, ensuring the prompt payment of salaries of civil servants and pensioners since he came into office. It is also our prayers that the Benin Port project that you initiated and supported to the extent that a preferred bidder has emerged, which will guarantee the construction and commissioning of the port will be concluded in due course, as this will change the economic landscape of Edo State. Finally, the ENAW will continue to solicit your support as we embark on these legacy projects in our dear Edo State for the benefit of our people. Like I said before, in 3 senatorial districts, what we plan to have, that this dialysis center is going to be built in Edo North, Edo Central, and Edo South. So I'm soliciting your support. If you look at the postal over there, there's a QR code. And also, when you look at the envelope that is sitting on your table, there's a QR code for you to make donations towards this project. You can just scan it, or if you want to write a check, or you want to give cash, please look at the envelope that is on your table so that you can make donation to this project. Thank you all for listening to my speech, as I wish you a pleasurable time throughout this convention. May God bless Edo National Association worldwide. God bless Edo State. God bless Nigeria. Oba Atokbe is there. I'm going to call on our Vice President to continue with the fundraising.
Thank you, Madam President. Standing on the existing protocols on ground. First Lady, appreciate you for coming. Senators, appreciate you for coming. Keynote speakers, chairmen, I appreciate everyone. The Madam President have really talked about my presentation, so I'm going to spare us the time and not bore us again. But as you know, we have a noble cause which is to save a kidney and save a life. I think each one of us today are very opportune that we're here. I know the chairman said, we should stand up, right? And he said something about blood flowing through us, which is good. And he said, the fact that you are standing is a testament that you survived COVID. Amen to that. So there's a reason why you did. You didn't just do it so you can keep occupying space and taking space here. There's a reason, because some people that God is put across your path, he's counting on you to deliver. So the goal today is for each one of us to look inwardly and figure out, what can I contribute to society, especially the home that I came from. You have been given a platform that so many don't have. Just the gift of health, as they say, health is wealth. There's a lot of people who has money today, right? And they don't even have the health to enjoy the wealth. But somehow, those who don't even have it, they have health. And I want to challenge each one of us, for the health that we have, let us also show that we're thankful for it. And one way to do that is to give back to those who are not privileged like we do. So what I like to do is, each one of you have an envelope somewhere is sitting at your desk, and if you don't know what to do, just scan the envelope. It's a QR code. It would take you to the donation page. As we say, everything you give is greatly appreciated. If you gave a penny, we still appreciate you, right? So it don't have to be $1, but I know that we're too blessed to do a penny. So if a penny is in that envelope, we will pray for you. Amen to that? We will pray for you. And when we say we pray for you, we'll find your name and lay hands on you. So we don't want that, right? So in terms of how to contribute, we have also a QR code that would take you to the website. So we have Zelle set up for it. We have PayPal set up for it. We have Cash App set up for it. We're still trying to raise money, as the president said. The goal is to raise 2.4, but with the exchange rate, that dollar amount is going down. So please, if you could, we're going to take about 5 minutes or so. If you want to just make an announcement to us, we would take that. If you feel like you just don't, some of us are kind of shy. We're secret doers, movers and shakers, right? Okay, so I think we have the financial secretary, the treasurer. Please, we'll kind of need you to move around a bit. But I was fortunate enough. I received a code, and the code came from Mississippi. And Mississippi said that they were going to do, I'm so sorry. And Mississippi said that they were going to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but they said they were going to do something. And I'm from Mississippi, so I'm going to believe that they've got something better, something big, something to show. So the president of Mississippi, Mr. F.A. Asawad, I'm going to give you the phone to please tell us what this code message that you're telling me that you came with.
Thank you very much. Mukbia Wese. Wadomo. Hey. And Wabukiao, for those in Magba, maybe around the same age. So every year, Wakada Kadao, so from Edo Heritage Union, Mississippi, I'm honored to be here in this kind of gathering. And first thing I want to say is to say this young man right now is an asset. Whatever he touches, it changes. And you will see that in the very near future. So when he brought the news to us, even I'm a member of COP, still new in the block, and told us that every organization has been charged certain amount of money, $1,000 each. And we put heads together among the executive of our organization. And mind you now, last year, early this year, we were only 12 in numbers. And now we are 11. We lost our dear father to, brief illness, Mr. Festus Adagbonyi. So we put us together and we said, okay, we will give you that $1,000 so you can take over there to the convention. And also we said, we have other funds somewhere that was supposed to be, that are allocated to some other things. Why don't we put those ones on hold? Because this project is very, very dear to each and every one of us. You just can't imagine here, you get sick, you are on dialysis, you have access to it just like that. And if you don't have money, the government pay for your, everything. But at home, we don't have that. And we've always have people on dialysis from the get-go in Nigeria, even though I didn't even know while I was there. So we said we will put the other ones aside and we will add only $4,000, making it $5,000 that we give for the project. So thank you everybody, and God bless every one of you. Amen.
Your Excellency, the First Lady of Edo State, our beautiful Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, the distinguished Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, representing Edo South, Senator Leda Imaswen, the Honorable Rep of the House of Representatives, the representative of the Oba of Benin, if the person is here, the President, Edo National Association Worldwide, my own baby sister, Mrs. Bosse Obiasu. Permit me to stand permit me to stand by all already established protocols. And also permit me to recognize a very important person to me in this hall. She was my senior in Edo College. I was in class 1 when she was in lower 6. So you know what that, I was in class 3 when she was in lower 6. And that's Barrister Grace Ebagbe. Please stand to be recognized. She retired from the Nigerian Television Authority as an executive director, marketing. Today, she lives in Maryland. She's a media consultant, a lawyer, and she has asked me to specially introduce her to my sister, the president, because she wants to support this association from Maryland. Your Excellency, man, I want to correct an impression. His Excellency, the Governor of Edo State, is ably represented by the First Lady of Edo State. But I was specially directed by His Excellency to come to this event to speak specifically on the Benin Port project, which he was going to speak on himself if he was able to come. And that is what I'm going to be doing. Before I do that, we would like to join the donations that's going on. And when I say we, I mean myself and my family. Most of you may be aware that I started identifying with ENA as far back as the year 2007 at the Boston, Massachusetts branch of it. I came at that time on their invitation to speak coincidentally on Gele Gele Port. Little did I realize that several years down the line, I will still be associated with that port. I was privileged to be with you in Dallas, and I was there last year in Las Vegas, and today I'm very happy to be present at this occasion. On behalf of myself and my family, I'm supporting this initiative. It's an ongoing project with the sum of $10,000. Now, as you all know, the reality at home is not very, very good. That notwithstanding, we have to continue to keep hope alive. We have to continue to support worthy initiatives because, you see, distinguished senator, they want to build dialysis center in each senatorial district in Edo State, not in the United States. So they are doing this for Edo people back home. That is for us. We cannot but give them every encouragement and support in cash and in kind at home for the sacrifice that you people here are making. At a time when many people are buying away from Nigeria to come out of the country to diaspora, believing that it is a land of milk and honey, until they get out and they see that sometimes it's better to stay back at home in Nigeria. That means those of you here are not particularly finding it rosy and honey, so it's out of your sacrifice and goodwill that you are thinking of us and back home, and we're very grateful to you. That's my donation. At this point, I would now want to carry out the assignment for which His Excellency sent me to New Jersey. I would like to go down to do that. For those of you who were in Las Vegas last year, one of my colleagues in the port committee, Dr. Joseph Aibodua, made a detailed presentation, so I'm not going to go too much into that, but let me just quickly recap. When Edo State was carved out of the old Bendel, the state lost a lot economically. When we were part of Bendel, we participated in the economic benefits of having access to the sea through Warri Port, Sapele, Koko, and Borutu. What makes Lagos thick today is the port of Lagos, Apapa and Tinkan. So you can imagine the benefits accruing from port activities in the old Bendel State, which Edo was participating in. But after the separation, Edo State became landlocked, which meant we lost participation in all the port-related economic benefit. So when in 2017, soon after His Excellency Governor Baseki started his first term, he invited me from Port Harcourt and said, I know you are in the marine and shipping sector. I am thinking that Edo State, if they can find an opportunity to open the state to the sea again, it will unlock a lot of economic benefits that we lost from being created. And that was the advent of this initiative. So we sat together, we talked about it. He set up a couple of committees, and that brought me to where I am today as the chairman to implement the idea. We showed this map or plan last year, and I'm going to just talk very quickly about the initiative. Our committees decided not to just build a port terminal. We did a study of all the existing ports in the country and outside the country, and we decided to integrate in this initiative, studying all the lapses and challenges of the other ports. And we decided we're to develop a port community complex, which will incorporate a port main terminal, and in our own case, also a ro-ro port, because believe it or not, Edo or Benin has the second largest number of vehicles in Nigeria next to Lagos, strangely enough. So we have a ro-ro facility, but the main focus of our ports, we decided, should be such that it will stand out as a separate port. If you look at Warri Port today, it's not viable. Sapele Port has disappeared, gone to the Navy. Burutu shut down a long time ago. Cocoa has become a bunkering port. So technically speaking, if we were to build any port in the order of Warri or the others, we will join the queue of unviable ports in the country. So what did we do? We decided that if we can build an agro-focused, agro-allied port that will target the agricultural produce coming from the northern states through the food basket of the country, that's the middle belt. And if you come down to Edo State, what has been happening up till now, the agricultural produce via to Lagos port. And we all know the challenges in the Lagos port, which is resulting from the infrastructural deficit there. So most of these agricultural produce, they go bad by the time they are ready to be shipped to you people. So we decided, okay, if we can make our port an agro-allied port, incorporating an agricultural industrial park, perhaps we can process some of these goods coming from the north there, and they can be shipped out as already finished products. Also, we realized that it will be easier for those goods coming from the north to just come straight to our port for export rather than going to Lagos. And anyway, that's what informed this initiative. So today we have the agro-industrial park. We also decided to incorporate a general service park because there are a lot of Chinese and other industries around Edo State, who today you have Okomu, you have Presco, then you have Chinese cottage industries. Today, they are all going to Lagos or Port Harcourt to export their produce. So we created the general service area for them to build their warehouses and then be able to package their produce for export. You see, the objective is to create cargo for our port. You can build the most beautiful port. If they don't have cargo throughput, the port, that port is useless. So with the initiative, we anticipate cargo generation that would justify our port and of course create economic activity. We also look at the problem in Lagos, which has to do with haulage. Now, you can't have a port without having evacuation corridor where your trucks and places can park. And the last thing we want to do is to have the Apapa experience where all the roads are clustered with haulage trucks. So can I have that back, please? We decided to create, back to the plan, please. Thank you. The red section there is the trailer park. So all the trailers and trucks that will operate in our port area will always operate from that park. And then our evacuation corridor will always be free. In addition, we will be able to regulate the quality and standard of trucks that will operate in our park. Finally, we decided that contrary to what's happening in all our ports in the country, people live in Aja, Agege, Oronchoki, and all sorts of places, and then they shuttle to Apapa to work. You can imagine the challenges of doing that. We now decided we're going to develop a very innovative idea, a port smart city. And that's what you have in the purple color there. We also looked at what's happening globally. Please go back to that. My presentation is going to be based more on that exactly. What's happening globally right now is because of the carbon regulation, because of the atmosphere depletion, there is emphasis now on green emission. Our port is going to comply with the international requirements on green emission. How are we going to do that? We are focusing a lot on renewable energy. We're also, thank you. Thank you. All right. We also decided that our port smart city is not going to use fossil fuel vehicles. It's all going to be electric vehicles, and that's the plan. And that is incorporated in the design that is going on. But let's go now to the update of where we are now on this project. Like was referred to by the president during her speech, Edo State had the option of doing what everybody else is doing, and that's to borrow money to build a port by single sourcing. But we decided that instead of borrowing money and indebting the state to a couple of decades, mortgaging the future, His Excellency widely said, look, can we look for an alternative way of building the port without having to borrow money? So we decided to get the federal government buy-in in the project, in the port initiative. How did we do that? We appointed an international transaction consultant from Canada with offices in Nigeria, and jointly we developed an outline business case and took it to Nigerian Ports Authority. And by the way, no state or individual can own or operate a port. It's a federal government exclusive prerogative through Nigerian Ports Authority. So we took the outline business case to NPA, and how many? To NPA, and got the federal government buy-in through ICRC, who gave a clearance certificate for the port initiative, and with that, we're able to do international procurement of bidders through a competitive bid. 3 international companies applied, 1 Portuguese, 1 Turkey, and then 1 Chinese. At the end of the day, the Portuguese company, Motor Angel, you can Google them, emerged the preferred bidder. As we speak, they have already posted a bank guarantee of $1 million to show commitment to start the project. We are negotiating the concession agreement in the next couple of weeks. At the end of the day, we are going to come up with a full business case that will take the Federal Executive Council for approval, and then the concessionaire will take ownership of the project. Now that protects this project from subsequent administrations in Edo State because of the federal government involvement. Now, I would like to highlight where you come in this whole exercise, and that is really our interest. His Excellency in his administration has taken away emphasis from contracting and rent seeking to enterprise. When somebody is appointed into an office, public office, everybody goes to them asking for contracts. But this project is creating opportunities for you to participate as entrepreneurs, not as contractors. And how do you do that? Back to that drawing. This is very important, and it's a takeaway. The main port development will involve the preferred bidder coming up with their money to develop the port, but they will need various vendors and people to come and work for them. If Edo people don't get ready to participate in that, then the non-Edo people, as usual, will come in and take advantage of the opportunities. That's number one. But where you have great opportunities is in the smart port city, in the trailer park. If we have Edos who are into haulage in and out of the country and are familiar with that, why don't you come together and take the concession and run that trailer park and let it be for you? Because that's what we're going to do. Edo State is just going to be the landlord. We'll provide all this land. You come and set up your own industries to produce from the agricultural produce, whatever they are. You're making juice, tomato purees. Then in this port smart city, that's a huge opportunity as well. The state is going to make the land available. Some of you are doctors. Some of you are school proprietors. You can come together and set up a state-of-the-art hospital there that will attract people from all over the world. We'll give you the land for school, for residencies as well. So Edo State is not going to start looking for money to build anything. Concessionaires will come in, and we will also support you to generate financing, because there are all sorts of international financiers who are standing by to fund good project ideas from this. I can go on and on and on and on.
Thank you very much.
Finally, to the last slide, please. Very last, okay. No, before you, thank you. All expressions of interest should be addressed to the chairman, the Benin Port Project. The address is there, the email is there, and the telephone numbers are there. We are there to support you, make it a reality. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, and thank you
for having me here. I am excited. I was going to come with the governor, been planning to come for this year's convention as usual, and I made a point, told him that I must come with him because it's a woman who's president now, and I have to be here to support. And then as it turns out, the convention fell on the same day as the chairmanship elections going on in the state right now. And so the governor had to call off coming. He thought it'll be irresponsible of him to be here when they have an election in the state, especially as we know that anything can happen nowadays with elections in Nigeria. So you have to be there, watching every move that one makes. And so he asked me to come represent him. And I just felt this is answer to prayer. And so I'm very proud and happy and honored to be the one here supporting my sister, a fellow woman, speaking for the governor of Edo State. I have a whole written out here for me to present, but because we've got to leave here in a few minutes, I will just say a few words. First, to appreciate the president, and to say that I've been here before. I have seen what happens at ENAW, but what I see here today is different. What I see here today is really heartwarming and commendable. And I'm not surprised because it's a woman who is at the, oh yes, I am not saying this. I am not one to suffer fools gladly. I'm not one to praise people. I don't have a time for praise singing, but I speak truth and I acknowledge facts. And it's not because it's a woman. You all will attest to the fact that something different has happened here today. I listened to her before she came on board to speak. She and I have been talking, and she told me about how, because I heard someone say that ENAW has 61 chapters. And I asked her, how come 61 chapters when there are only 50 states in America? I assumed there's a chapter per state. And then she told me about other sub-nationals like the ESAM, People's Movement, and FMI, and all of those. And those are the ones who make up the large number. But what we're trying to do is to bring everybody together. And it is only mothers, women, who have that instinct. It's happening perhaps for the first time with my small knowledge of the history of ENAW. And it's a woman that would have the heart to gather her chicks, bring them all under her wings as one. So women continue to play a special role of bringing together, binding together, forging unity, oneness, harmony, peace, and progress. That's the reason we say what a woman can do, a woman can do better. We are seeing the example here live and direct. For the first time, I'm hearing, and pardon me, I do not have all of your history, but from the little I know, we're having a meaningful, impactful, great project being birthed by your association. It was not so before. This association looks like it's getting more focused, more productive, more meaningful, more impactful. That's what life is about. As human beings, as individuals, as associations, as groups, as states, as nations, if leaders do not seek to impact positively on the lives of the people that they lead, then there's no purpose. Then they have failed. So when we gather together and we gather to play, to enjoy, to eat and dance, and wear fine clothes, spend money doing all that, and at the end of the day, you haven't touched a life, you haven't changed a life, you haven't improved anybody's lot. It's a waste of time. Waste of time, waste of money, waste of your life. So it's commendable to find that the association is now getting more focused. I'm not saying you were not focused before, but you're rising up to a higher level of impact, higher level of service to your people. So I and the new and improved leadership, which comprises not just women, but men as well, because without the support of men, the women cannot thrive. That's why I'm acknowledging and thanking every one of you, our brothers. I see that a woman is leading, but we have lots of men in the room, and they're here to support. I want to thank you and encourage you to continue to support and continue to chart a path of progress and what's the word now? Impact. I love that word, impact, in all that you do as an association representing the good people of Edo State. I would like to just read something from the governor's speech. He says that it is refreshing to be in the midst of such, he would have been in the midst of such a large gathering of Edo indigenes assembled here to celebrate the Edo heritage and deliberate on matters of mutual interest anchored on arriving on how best to work together for the betterment of our dear state and its peoples. This year's convention is quite epochal as it coincides with the 32nd anniversary of Edo State's creation and 60 years since the Midwest Convention, for which the Edo State government held a highly stimulating colloquium only a few days ago. So, for many reasons, this gathering bears great significance. It is important to emphasize the critical role of Edos in diaspora to the development of our dear state. As a collective, Edos in diaspora are one of the most consequential population groups who drive the Edo economy, and I dare say the Nigerian economy, and contribute immensely to its sustenance over the years. It will not be out of place to argue that Edos in diaspora contribute as much, if not even more, than the state governments to the economic survival of a state through direct and indirect remittances. Also, I would like to state categorically that the Edos in diaspora play one of the most important roles to my second-term victory as you mobilized your people at home to cast their votes for my re-election. This much was evident through the activities of various diaspora support groups who championed the cause of Togba. However, it must be made clear that it was the fact that you have had the benefit of living and working in a sane environment built on the principles of accountability, transparency, integrity, and hard work that you appreciate the work that we're doing in Edo State. In the last 7 years, Edo has witnessed unprecedented development across various sectors of the state's economy. These changes were anchored on deep-rooted reforms undertaken to position our dear state as a continental champion in various spheres of human endeavor. Today, Edo has one of the most digitized and highest-paying public services in Nigeria. Processes will become fully paperless by September 1, and civil servants work in a conducive environment on account of extensive infrastructure upgrade of government offices across the state. The John Oyogo Public Service Academy, the first of its kind in Nigeria, has been established to provide year-long in-service training for all cadre of civil servants. The state has one of the most competitive primary school systems in emerging economies. Over 300,000 pupils are receiving top-of-the-class education in our primary schools and are performing well above their peers in the country, according to evidence gathered by the World Bank. In Edo State now, Edo State's in the last common entrance came tops, #1 in the whole of Nigeria, which shows that the impact of the Edo Best by your governor is yielding good results. We also have countries, Rwanda, come to Nigeria, teachers to come study what the governor is doing in Edo. And his team have won awards in the UK, in Norway, in some other countries on the Edo Best program. Other state governments are coming to Edo to copy what your governor is doing with education in Edo State. We have also displaced non-state actors in land management through reforms to the Edo State Geographic Information System, EDOGIS, and the Private Property Protection Committee. These have opened up the state for investment and ensured accountability and transparency in land transactions. You know now that within a month, if you apply, you will get your CFO if you buy land in Edo State. I see the governor every night signing CFOs to make sure that there's no delay, which is abnormal in a country like Nigeria, where governors sit on property CFOs and do not even issue one. Some governors don't even issue one CFO in the whole of their 8 years tenure. And that has so many consequences on people's enterprises, life and growth, generally. But your governor ensures that any application for a CFO is approved within a month, and I understand that the costs to get your CFO is minimal. One of the gains of this reform is the unprecedented development of 70,000 hectares of oil palm estates in Edo State through the Edo State Oil Palm Program, ESOP. We are collaborating with over 10 private sector investors on the program. We have attracted over $500 million into the agricultural sector in the states. We have also attracted 2 modular refinery projects to Edo State, which have combined capacity to refine about 10,000 barrels per day, making our state a hydrocarbon hub. Through Osiomo Power, we have 95 megawatts of energy available in the state, which is being used to power government establishments. The electricity from the plant is now available to private estates and industrial hubs in line with the new federal government policy on electricity. We have placed a strong emphasis on developing the state's digital economy and made immense investments to build the right infrastructure to diverse the vision. We have invested in the digital infrastructure by laying fiber optic cables across the 18 local government areas of the state. This will ensure the provision of high-speed internet across Edo, even as the government has provided free Wi-Fi in strategic locations in metropolitan Benin, affording residents the opportunity to access free internet and engage in productive activities in public places. Through various initiatives across the state at the Edo State Skills Development Agency, Edo Jobs, we have provided direct and indirect job opportunities for over 300,000 persons in the states. I remember the governor had promised to create 100,000 or 200,000 jobs when he came on board as governor, and as of today, he's done over 150% of his promise. The government skills development programs are implemented in partnership with local and international development agencies, including bilateral and multilateral organizations such as technology companies such as Google, Facebook, Microsoft, Siemens, among others. The governor has built it's called a tech village, where young people are brought in. This is in partnership with another company that presented at the Women's Forum yesterday. Decagon is the name of the company. So young graduates apply, and there's a whole facility. It's like a campus where they are located. Each person has a space where they sleep and work in the same space, and they are trained in IT capabilities, and right there for a period of 6 months. And every trainee is guaranteed a job, even whilst they are there learning digital skills. Some of them get jobs in America, some in Asia, whilst they're there, and a lot of them, by the time they're finished, they're already making millions in Naira and hundreds of thousands in dollars. So that's ongoing. It's a tech hub, and there's a permanent site that government is already developing for that project. You've heard about the Victor Wafo Creative Hub, which the governor set up. It's an innovative hub for the creative industry. And he's built it with all kinds of equipment, a studio where people can come to record their plays and films and all of that. And right now, it is the most active creative hub in Nigeria, attracting writers and playwrights and, troops doing movies from across the country. So the governor speaks here about the emphatic fights against human trafficking and gender-based violence, which I'm also involved in, leading to legislations to safeguard youth against human trafficking and discourage gender-based violence. In its fight against human trafficking, the state government has provided shelter and helped in reintegrating over 5,000 victims of irregular migration, providing them with shelter and ensuring that they are integrated into the society. To ensure the sustainability of the initiative, the government set up the Daisy Danjuma Women's Center to support initiatives targeted at protecting the vulnerable in society. To this end, the state government set up the Edo State Sex Offenders Register and the Committee on Gender-Based Violence to ensure a proper mechanism to check the menace. That Gender-Based Violence Committee is chaired by myself. Engineer Ogbefu has just spoken to you about the Bini Port project, so I wouldn't say anything about that. The governor says that they're developing the Edo Regional Development Plan and the Benin City Master Plan. These plans are expected to transform and modernize our state, providing the pathway to developing conducive and orderly communities. One of the immediate benefits of these is the new city development in Benin called the Coral City. I'm sure some people have spoken to you about it. Governor says that they're currently selling and implore you to explore the opportunity to partake in this landmark project. It's a huge new project. It's already on ground. They're clearing and designing it for any interested. They have different sections. They have the commercial section. They have the residential section. It's as a result of the congestion of Benin as a city and providing a new city so that, rather than destroy the old ancient city, which has its own cultural and historical value, the governor deemed it fit to open up the city and create a whole new area for expansion whilst retaining the old character of the city to enhance this cultural district that the governor is building, and the purpose of which he wants to make Benin City the cultural hub of Africa, not just Nigeria. That's why he's pushing and fighting for the return of the artifacts to put in the huge museum that they're building, so that people outside, the white people seem to know more about the value of the ancient Benin Kingdom and its treasures, more than us who own it, and more than Africans. So when the governor completes this cultural district and the Emowa Museum that he's building to house the artifacts, by the grace of God, we will find that people around the world will be trooping to Benin City as tourists. And that will enhance, it will just change the dynamics in the state. It will transform Edo State into the wealthiest state in Nigeria, by all means. And also shore up revenues, not just for the state, but for the country, because tourism will be at its peak. And if we're not careful with this work in Edo State, tourism, if we're not careful, will become the #1 revenue earner of the state and of the country. So the theme for this year's convention, Achieving Health Equality for All, it's a necessity for Edo's sustainability. It is apt as it captures the essence of the Edo State Health Insurance Scheme. The scheme is operational and open to everyone in the state, ensuring that Edo residents are able to receive affordable and quality health care when they enroll for the scheme. The scheme provides a viable base for a sustainable health care system and provides financial backbone for improving the state's healthcare sector, reducing a lot of out-of-pocket spending on health. So I'm quite excited about your topic today because it just happens to coincide with what's been happening in the state in recent times. In April last year, I was fortunate to organize the Association of Nigerian Physicians in the Americas, AMPA, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. And I got them to come with the support of the governor and his whole team to come to Edo State with the largest mission they have ever embarked on since inception. AMPA came, I spoke about it last night, came with over 60 medical professionals. They had the whole gamut of medical professionals, from plastic surgeons to gynecologists to pediatricians to eye doctors to nephrologists and all manner of doctors. Some were not even Nigerian, some were foreigners, because they said when they were preparing for this mission, a lot of their foreign white colleagues were excited. And they came to Edo. They were with us for 10 days and treated over 10,000 patients. And one of the main fallouts of that mission was that they were able to now establish what we call telemedicine, whereby every Saturday in Edo State now, medical doctors in America consult with ordinary patients in Edo, and at the primary health center level, they go to the PHCs, connect with the doctors in America, and they consult with them, treat them, and that's ongoing successfully. And then the AMPA, the governor is working with AMPA to also support with the medical city. Your governor is building a whole medical city in Benin City on the grounds of the Stella Obasanjo Hospital. And he's having, like you have here in America, where you have a place, you've got accommodation, a hotel, you've got everything, a shopping complex, you've got different specialties, the hospital, the whole works, the lab and everything. So there are going to be different specialties, nephrologists, IVF, all manner of specialties on the same grounds. And AMPA is partnering with the government to supply the necessary medical expertise to make this happen. The nephrology, which coincidentally is what you're dominating towards, the nephrology project apparently is going to take off first before the others. And I'd like to encourage our president and the team who have done so well with your keen interest and the amount you've already raised, to work closely with Dr. Michael Itomi. He's a nephrologist here in America, in Charlotte, and he's the one who's spearheading the AMPA nephrology initiative with the government. So apart from working with the people, the commissioner in the States, I'd advise you to also connect with Mike Itomi. I'm going to talk to him to connect with you so that you can work together and make this happen. But the state government is there, providing all the, like they say, the enabling environment, the physical infrastructure and everything that's required to make this happen, because we all know that the incidence of kidney disease, especially in Nigeria, is alarming. It used to be one for old people. Now, very young people are also suffering. So it's a pandemic. And I'm so glad that you're thinking about supporting your government and your people to help bring help to and treatment to the people of Edo State. So I want to thank and appreciate you again for giving me this time. I want to appreciate all those who have, at one time or the other, partnered with us on different projects in diaspora. We do not take the partnership lightly and encourage even more people to work with us towards engendering sustainable development in our dear states. I remain grateful, that's the governor, for your support, and encourage and strongly believe in our capacity to transform and set our dear states aright. As you can see, we have not disappointed you, and we will continue to count on your support to finish strong. Thank you, and God bless you. His Excellency, Governor Godwin Obaseki. He's also asked me to donate $10,000 to ENAW for your convention, and 2.5 million naira to the women's wing, also for their convention. Thank you very much.